We are honored to welcome our first speaker, Mr. D.K. Gupta, Whole-Time Director, Vice President, Legal, Regulatory and Company Secretary at Cable and Wireless Global Private Limited, the India arm of Vodafone PLC UK. With over 28 years of experience in legal, regulatory and corporate governance, he has guided strategic decisions in the telecom sector and held leadership roles at TRAI, Competition Commission of India, IL&FS Energy and Estel Private Limited. He holds qualifications including FCS, MBA, MPhil, LLB and is a PhD scholar. We are especially delighted to have him back with us, as he had earlier been a visiting faculty for the legal aspects of business course from 2002 to 2005, when he captivated students with his practical insights and rich industry experience.
What are your thoughts on whether the corporate leaders face challenges which are similar to those which are encountered in public administration?
We are living in times where the judicial reforms, the bureaucratic reforms, and the organizational corporate governance reforms are equally going simultaneously. My view is that in the current times, bureaucracy is very, very clear on having this transformation, which is actually coming as a loading to the corporates. And corporates at the same time are facing the same challenges that how do we adopt this? In a very simple example, the three trinity of the Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobility, I mean, this is a pure example of the bureaucracy. They said 24/7 that how this amount reaches to the farmers directly into their accounts. And hence, the corporates also moved into the same fashion, that now because the umbrella at the top is heading towards the inclusion of the challenges, then we should also be ready. When we enter into the corporates as a workers, we should be very thoroughly aware about that what bureaucracy is going to do, because there is a concept of consultation now started with the government. The government is very hurry in bringing out a lot of legislations and change into this. So our purpose sitting into the organization is that how do we correlate these consultations, keeping in mind the governance, and flare it up. The only one word which I wish to share with the generation to come is that there is a word called institutionalization. So the intent of institutionalization of these organizations, the policies, the challenges, the practices, it is most important. It is very well coming into the organization and the government side.
What leadership principles from bureaucracy or the bench would you think are going to be most relevant to India's corporate governance journey today, and particularly in your sector? So given your experience in the particular sector, also let us know about what you think could be some of the leadership principles which the corporate leaders of the future need to adopt to.
Both for the bureaucracy and for the corporate leaders is inclusion. Because we are currently driving a boat which has a speed and which has a transformation. So many people say digital transformation is actually over. We are now heading towards generative AI. So the government is also very, very clear about it. Generative AI, as of now, may have its responsibilities attached to it, and therefore the laws and regulations are to be framed in time. As I am coming from a telecom sector, I can quote a lot of things have gone into telecom sector, because we have seen telecom in 1995 when the monopoly of the BSNL was there. And the TRAI was the first regulator in the country which was actually established to regulate the sector in a very fair way. So it was the first regulator which actually evolved with a consultative process. And slowly, I think most of us, we know that telecom has come from that era to this era. Most important thing is, even if you visit a DOT site today, you will find that you are actually entering into the solution mode rather than the question mode. So may it be a right-of-way permission, may it be some complaint on, Sanchar Sathi, everything is now online. So the adoption by the government is also very, very speedy. And because every law and every direction which comes from the government, the corporate has to adopt it. But the very clear thing is that the consultative process. It is a consultative process. The only thing is that once you are through with the infrastructure to deal with it, we are good to go. For example, the latest case you might have read in the newspapers, the caller name address will now come on your phones, because so the government was in a massive hurry that because of these digital arrests and so many things, people do not know from where the call is coming in. So we are working day and night since last 6 months, all the operators together with the government agencies. I mean, I must share with you that the era of the law enforcement agencies, maybe it IB or the CBI, everybody, AB, income tax, everyone is going towards digital adoption now. And somehow we are trying to launch this, that now you will get the name of the person who is calling to you on the phone. So this is the speed which is citizen centric, number one. Number two is that how corporates adopt it to convey to their boards that now we are actually adopting the governance practices into it. And from there I am coming to the institutionalization mechanism. And I think since you are the B school students, you know that institutionalization requires some of the moderators which affect the institutionalization. And the most critical for India perspective is the discourse mechanism, which people actually generally resistance to change. They don't want to do it. And the two is the normative learnings. That is another variable which actually affects to the institutionalization. So normative learning is one of the most critical part for all of us now in corporates, that we educate to the board, we educate to the down level, the upper level, everywhere, and most critical to the customers also, because they, for example, in our country, the senior citizen ratio is very high, so it's very difficult to educate them. So this is also one of the agenda in telecom sector to telecom companies, that it should not happen that the only B school students should get to know what is the digital. At the same time, we must also teach to senior citizens. So everything goes in parallel. Currently, we are, I think, into an era where, according to me, most of the things are going in a right direction. However, if we want to say that whether the bureaucracy is perfect, judiciary is perfect, corporate is perfect, this time is to say that no, actually we are actually adopting, we are devising the laws, devising the rules, devising the penalties, everything.
I would like to like you to shed some thoughts on the role of ESG, digital governance, data protection, or stakeholder activism. And as these are becoming more and more important, what do you think is going to define or redefine corporate governance in this particular evolving landscape? Or you could probably be talking about the massive potential for artificial intelligence, which is the word of the day, to change the way an organization is run.
The phenomena into the telecom domain, in which from where I'm coming in, most of the people think that the digital transformation era is over and we are now heading towards generative AI. As I am also on the board of a company, the maximum discussions in the board as of now in the last 6 to 1 years is going that we should be educated on the AI, the impacts about it. The independent directors in the board generally ask, they go beyond asking that I just don't want to learn, I also want to learn what are the impacts negatively going for this AI to the society and a consumer in the company in which I am as a director. So we in the telecom currently advising to the board that the step number 1 is that there are many courses which are basics. We should be giving you, we should be taking you through all these courses. You first be, aware about what is actually this generative AI. How can it benefit to my company in terms of cost benefit analysis and all that. And as the bureaucracy and the judicial reforms progresses, we will come to know about the negative effects of the generative AI. I should not use the word negative because it will be taken into a wrong context now. It is not a negative, but responsible AI is the word which we are telling to the board, that there should be a law in parallel which directs every corporate and every citizen of the country that AI is to be handled very responsibly.